Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. For the tarot, I'm using Wild Reflections Tarot by Spell. I think I'm saying that right. There's a couple things with it. There is this QR code, I think is what it's called, with some information on it. So feel free to freeze frame on that if you want that information. There's also the website on the back, yspell.com. So if you want to see that, you can freeze frame and get that information if you want it. Yspell, I think, is down over here somewhere. Okay. For the Oracle cards, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reed. I want to say the websites are here in the back. I'm pretty sure there's a Colette Baron Reed website. I don't know if it's at the bottom of that, though. I thought I already had this out. There's the illustrator information there. If you want it, feel free to freeze frame and check out what you would like to see. And then ColetteBaronReed.com. Yeah, it's in the back of the book. There we go. Hopefully that's focusing so you can see it. Okay. And I use dice as well. I use a 22-sided dice. I replaced 22 with 0 for the major arcana. And then I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana. And I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element of the minor arcana. Math Art Fun. MathArtFun.com. Hopefully you can see that one too. Through that bag. MathArtFun.com. If you're interested. That's where those dice came from. Okay, with that being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and let's get into your reading. Hello, Pisces! Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Pisces? I'm really enjoying this new deck. There's a lot of very new imagery, which opens up some new doors. Kind of like, getting out of the old rut and seeing what else is to be said. Why am I getting hiccups? Well, okay. The Tower is here. I'm the type of reader, I don't think of the Tower as always bad. It's usually a shocking moment, true. But I just don't always see it as bad. So, especially if you're the one making the move that's creating the Tower moment, which could be the situation. You're making decisions. You've been trying to make a decision. So, what are those? These are lanterns, I think. Balancing the light is kind of what I keep thinking of with this. It's the Justice card in the past. Now, this could talk about somebody you've dealt with in the past or how you've handled a situation in the past. Trying to be more diplomatic. So if it was somebody you were dealing with, maybe they were the more diplomatic one, and trying to help things work out more in a community way, not in like a one person getting everything, but like spreading out the bounty between a few people. This could also be a very much like, we can work this out without arguing type energy. Believe it or not, justice, the way I see it in this, it's just kind of like, this is what it is. We're not going to argue about it. This is what it is, and we're just going to balance it out the way it should. It's almost like going into a stock room and realizing, like, we need more of this, we have too much of that. And kind of like, all right, we're going to take what we have too much of and we're going to spread that out to other people, and then we're going to ask other people to donate so we can up the level of this other stuff. Stuff like that. Balancing out. Usually it's, I don't know, I keep getting a peaceful energy with this, though. Ironically, a lot of times I don't feel like this is like a brutal justice. I think it's like a peaceful, very peaceful. And as it keeps moving forward, this is the energy that's coming in. I feel like this is like a repeat. It could be like in the past it was somebody else with this. Maybe they taught you this. And they're either coming back in, or it's something maybe you've done before and maybe it's time to do it again. Because you have the foundation to make this situation work out. And there's a decision that needs to be made. I keep getting there's a decision that needs to be made. The sooner you make it, the better it goes. I also get that you've done this before. I keep feeling that. Like you've done this before or have experience with it in some reference. You know how this needs to happen. There's also that Four of Cups energy, kind of like, yeah, even though I can, I really don't want to. But that would stabilize your situation, whatever this is. Now I keep getting hiccups, which to me talks about stressful energy. Which I'm getting like the Mapmaker of Destiny here with the Tower card. And the Tower, I mean, for a Tower card, there's not a lot of fire on it. There's people falling to the ground, which is not fun, and can be deadly. There's perspective of some of this too, makes me wonder. Because I feel like it's all about perspective and where, not just how you're viewing it right now, but how you view it going forward. And there's some nervous energy here. A lot of it's perspective. It looks different from the outside. I don't know, you've probably had experiences where there's been maybe cliques of people or situations where before you got into it, you thought it was one way. And then once you're on the inside, you're like, oh, this is nothing like what I thought it was. This situation is mirroring that too. It's kind of like once you get on the inside of the situation, once you get on the other side of making the decision, it doesn't feel the same anymore. And it doesn't have this, I don't feel the fear anymore after you get past it. So it's like making the decision, moving forward. There's a lot of support with this decision. A lot of help coming forward with it. Like this can go right, this can go well. Trying to really look at it like what needs to happen. I keep getting this like it just seems like it's really gut-wrenching to move forward with that Tower card and the Mapmaker. But when I feel this energy, it's kind of like the energy is coming forward trying to help you move forward. Like there's a good opportunity here. The timing is right. The people are in the right place. If you move forward now, it'll go easier now. It's like when you're watching this, and these readings are timeless, so whenever you're watching it, I feel like it's saying, this is the time to move forward. This is the easiest time. This is where we can get the most support to you. This is where we can bring in people in situations and circumstances to go to your aid the most. So this is going to be the easiest time to move it forward. You seem to know it's going to take a lot of work. It's work that you're very capable of, though. Is there, I don't know if there's nervous energy with this. You got the Magician with the Three of Pentacles for you. If we can just, let's do the dice on that. So, you already know what you have to do. And it's not about thinking it out. It's just about doing it. And you might be thinking yourself into a corner is the worry part. You might be thinking yourself, like, overthinking it. Sooner or later, I was going to say this anyway. I'm a Pisces, blah, blah, blah. Raised by 2 Pisces, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I do this. When I get too caught up in my head, I already know what I'm going to do, but then I get into... It's like you already know what you're going to do, but you start overthinking it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I already know. If I just stop trying to go through all the scenarios, and I just start taking the first step, and I just kind of like, all right, first step, get out the door. So get everything together, get out the door. Okay, next step, get it into the car. Okay, it's in the car, and focusing on, okay, that's in the car. All right, next step, get in the car, get the car started. There we go. Next step, get down the street. Okay, down the street. All right, next step, get to this place. All right, got to that place. Next step, get in the building. Sometimes I don't know what that's called, but like sometimes when I do that overthinking thing, I force myself to stop by like micro focusing. Is that a word? Is that a word? I don't even know if that's how that, whatever. But like that might be what would help you at this point. Kind of like, I know what I need to do. I need to, so like if maybe you're a novelist and you like writing, but like for some reason this situation is like you're overthinking it for some reason. Decide what time you're going to do it. And every time the thought comes up, just keep centering on that. When the time comes, then start going like, all right, I need my book. Where's my book? Get my book. I need my pen. There's my pen. Got my pen. All right, now I need to write the first sentence. Write the first sentence. This first sentence needs to become a paragraph. All right, now I made the paragraph. This first paragraph needs to become a page. And just, it's almost like just micro-focusing on the pieces you can handle in that moment. It'll get you going, it'll start you going, and it'll get you through it faster than you realize. I hope I'm describing that correctly, because it's something that I use to, like, when I start seeing myself overthinking things, I literally, because my brain won't stop, it's not gonna. So I just bring it down, and then I just keep repeating until I get to where I'm gonna get, or I move myself somewhere else, and I keep micro-focusing on something else that I can do, versus overthinking something that's just gonna have a million and one ways to do it. Hopefully I made sense with that, because I feel like it's hard to describe unless you go through it to know what I'm talking about. So maybe, maybe, because once this starts moving forward, your energy like starts to amp up, and it's kind of like your groove. You start getting into it, and you start flowing with it before you know it. It goes a lot easier than expected. There's a trick with this though, to keep the situation on the successful path. You don't want to. Even though you get in your groove and you start flowing with it, you'd think you just want to stick with that, right? I'm getting that it's kind of like rolling, it's like a ball rolling downhill. At some point, the momentum is going to go. You're not going to go downhill for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's going to level out at some point. It's just going to stop moving. So they're saying just don't go with the flow. What they're saying, like they're saying, don't just go like, well, let's see how far it goes. Let's see how. Don't do that. They're saying don't do that. What they're saying to do with it is connect with others. Connect with others. And the non-judgment thing there. What's the name of the card actually? Lady of the Mirror. This depends on you and how advanced you are in this situation, just to be fair. People say things. People are going to say things. You want to connect with other people. You want their input, but you got to like not over-invest in their input. Somebody might have an opinion about you or what you're doing or the quality of what you're doing. And the trick is to like hear it, but like not over-invest in it. I feel like this is hard, especially because this is a Pisces reading. And I'm saying this as a Pisces, of course. Hear other people, but then realize that sometimes people say stuff and they're not really judging you, they're judging themselves. And just seeing it for what it is. Like, I've had people, like, comment on my features or my weight and stuff like that once in a while. And I've even had friends, like, say, I don't know why they said that to you, because they're in no position to say whatever they've commented on. Like, or, like, my hairline or anything like that. It's just kind of like, it's just interesting, and you start realizing that the things that they're throwing at you, they're judging themselves, and they're kind of trying to make themselves feel better as if you were worse. And that's a game they're playing that you don't have to invest in. But on the same token, there might be something there you can gain from it. There might be something there you can work on. So like if you're going for a certain goal, and maybe somebody's like making comments on your artwork or your writing or some project you did, maybe there's something you can learn from. The thing is to like, okay, learn from it and move on from it and let go of their added descriptions to it. And then kind of go, if I can do it, I will. If I can't, then I won't. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I've had it happen with writing too, where people like, they comment and they like say like certain things about my writing doesn't make sense or doesn't work. And I felt bad about it. And then I found out afterwards that they weren't that great of a writer either. So I'm just like, it kind of like bends my brain. Like, all right, were they right what they said? Because they clearly don't do it well either. So, you know what I mean? You kind of step back, learn what you can, and let go of what doesn't work. I'm a big fan of Paul McKenna. I probably mentioned this before in other readings. How to Mend Your Broken Heart is what I think the current title is of that. You can take that information and those exercises, and you can use that type of energy to sort this out in your favor. If the name Paul McKenna seems to click with you for some reason, you're like, that sounds interesting, I recommend just checking it out, see if it works for you. That's what I've used. Because you want other people's input. You just don't want to be controlled by other people's input, if you follow me. I understand why you'd want to just go off on your own and just do it your own way, but to have the successful energy that you're looking for here, they're like, it's better to connect with other people and to, hear the input, but don't let the input own you. Own the input, don't let it own you. You know what I mean? If you're able to do this and keep moving forward, that extra input will keep the momentum going. It will actually motivate you to keep going all the way to the end of your path, which is this. Knight of Pentacles, like that. I like that. The situation, even though there's boundaries, this does not have to be a bad thing. Some people don't like boundaries, I know that. Usually Pisces goes well with boundaries. As long as you have enough boundaries to actually be comfortable. You know what I mean? It's the difference between living in a tiny house and feeling like you have nowhere to move versus feeling like you live on an estate. It's kind of like, well, I'm not supposed to go off the estate, but there's so much to do here. There's so much space that it's not that big of an issue. So there are boundaries here. If you let other people in, again, let the input work for you, not own you. You know what I mean? It could help you define those boundaries where you should work more, where you don't need to work more. Just don't let the boundaries control you. Work with the boundaries. Let them work for you, not against you. I don't feel like that's the right way to say that. I feel like there's better ways to say that. Nine of Wands, half in, half out, and then the Lover's card upside down. It's not about people liking you for the way you do it. It's about you liking you for the way you do it. Okay. So the Nine of Wands, half in, half out, is kind of like you let down the guard a little bit, but you don't give people the keys to the kingdom. It's kind of like if you think of a castle, letting people into the first level, like the courtyard, but not letting them into the main foyer, if you follow me. Or some people, I've had people explain it this way to me too. It's kind of like if somebody's coming over to visit, they can come in and they can visit and they can hang out on the porch, but they're not allowed in the house. Like sometimes, you just don't let certain people in the house. You'll visit with them, you'll allow them some stuff, maybe you'll let them use the bathroom, so you'll let them in the house that far, but that's about it. And only if they ask. Only if they ask, and then they can use the restroom, and they have to come back outside. And that's it. So the whole thing about this is to keep people connected. Let people in, but don't let people own the situation. Make sure that you own the situation. Don't let what they say to you hold you down. Let what they say to you kind of like pick and choose what you want to do with it. And you decide what you want to value. And they say something, you're like, I don't agree with that. Move on from it. That's why I say the Paul McKenna thing, that book, How to Mend Your Broken Heart. That's how I learned to effectively do that as a Pisces. Until I got the exercises from that book, I had a hard time doing that. I had a hard time not thinking about what I didn't want to think about, if you'll follow me on that. So that book gave me that edge. I'm not saying that's the only author that's effective with that. That's just the one that I connected with, in case that makes sense to you. Because I get like this situation, it could take a long time, but you could have major profitable permanent transformation that you want, but it's not going to be quick. Is this the Swan Queen? The Swan Queen. It's a very beautiful change. It's kind of like, the Ugly Duckling. I'm sure many people have heard the Ugly Duckling tale. It's a nursery rhyme, is it? I don't know, or it's a children's story anyway. If you're interested, look it up. I'm not going to go down that whole story, but this is a situation that could go from it goes from very I don't think it's going to happen to wow, not only did it happen, it became much better than I ever thought it could be. Is there anything else with this? All right, I think we're there. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.